7.
Welcome to Carson, California for the start of the 2013 Reebok CrossFit Games. The athletes are here, they're checked in, and now the strategizing begins. Keeping with tradition, Dave Castro dropped not 1, not 2, but 4 bombs on the CrossFit community. We'll take you inside the surprise announcements, break down those events, and analyze what they might mean for the podium. The CrossFit Games Update Show starts now. Good evening and welcome to the CrossFit Games Update Show. I'm Emily Turner here with Pat Sherwood and Caity Henniger. And you guys, you want to talk about a big night tonight. That was it, 4 times big.
4 times big, and I'm so excited just about the swim announcement. I mean, come on. We knew or we thought there'd be a water element, but this kind of sprinting, I didn't see that coming at all.
And that's why I like the row, because everybody thought there was going to be a swim. The row is the biggest surprise of the night.
I think you may be the only one who thinks that the row is great. And that all is going to happen a little bit later in the week. But first, let's talk about what happened today. And that is that the individual athletes arrived. They checked in. What's it like down there at the Marriott? Pat, you've been hanging around quite a bit.
Yeah, rubbing elbows with all the big wigs down there. It's been a blast. Saw people down in the workout area, the athlete check-in, just kind of wandering through the hotel, and everyone's been so cool so far. They're just kind of trading war stories from games past amongst the veterans. A lot of photos being snapped. Hey, let's get a little Instagram deal going on, bump up my Twitter followers. And so far, mellow, stress-free, and overwhelmingly positive.
It's a nice little family atmosphere
Absolutely.
We've got down there, down to the matching T-shirts and everything. But at some point, these family-ish items become competitors. At what point does that switch flip?
As soon as they walk out on the field or the tennis court, it flips. A good example of that is Lindsay Valenzuela and Sam Briggs. They've been living together and training together for the last 4 or 5 weeks, but they both want to win. So as soon as it's 3, 2, 1, go, it's everyone for themselves.
And, we're all friends, and I want you ladies to do well. But if we work out together, for that period of time, you're my enemy, my mortal enemy, and I'm trying to beat you. And that is just elevated to the nth degree for these athletes, they're battling for all kinds of sponsorships, $275,000 to the winner. So I can't even imagine that.
So at this point, you're not sharing any secrets, but there's still a lot of important stuff that's happening behind closed doors because there are still a couple of days before these events begin. What is happening? What are these athletes doing right now in preparation for what's to come?
I think I got to give a shout out to Chris Field. I think he said it the best last week on the update show where he's like, look, you're so close to the games. Really, the only thing you can do is kind of mess yourself up. So what you want to do so close is you want to maintain. You want to roll into the games feeling good, have your joints feeling good, stress-free, maintain all that fitness, and just be very smart.
Yeah, the training's done. They've done what they needed to do to get here, and now it's about taking care of everything else. I talked to Chris Clever. She's staying at a hotel that has a kitchen so she can take care of all of her meals for the rest of the week so she doesn't have to worry about eating out or where she's going to eat each night. So I think it's about taking care of everything else, and their training can, play a part on the field.
Well, and on that note, Caity, when you were competing in the CrossFit Games, was that something that you were thinking about? Oh, I have to find a hotel with a kitchen so I can program my food that far out. The evolution of the games has come so far just in the last few years.
Yeah, in 2008, I had no idea what I was doing. Didn't know where I was going to eat. Wasn't even sure. I don't even know if I took food to the venue. So, yeah, no idea. These athletes, above and beyond what they need to do.
Absolutely. Okay, so one thing that does remain the same, however, through all of the changes that we've seen, that is the unknown, the unknowable, and these athletes having to prove their fitness. That is epitomized in those announcements, and we're going to talk about those coming back right after this. Welcome back to the CrossFit Games Update Show. The one thing that you're going to know is that you're not going to know everything that there is to know about these events.
Well said.
And that is, as I said, epitomized today with the not one, not two, not three, but 4 different announcements about these events. And that's something that's kind of remained the same from the beginning of the games.
Yeah, we're a new sport, right? I mean, we've been around since 2007. That's not that long. And one of the recent traditions that everyone's enjoyed has been you can almost count at the athlete dinner something's going to happen. And tonight, we expected something. So after the announcements got popped out, I texted Rich Froning, like, hey, make me sound smart on the update show. Text me something back. What's going through your mind right now? And all he wrote back was, ouch. And I was like, well, if Rich is saying that, it probably means the announcements did their thing.
Yeah, even though they probably knew it was coming, you still had a whole table of female athletes that could barely eat their dinner because they were so nervous at what was about to come, and they probably thought it was only going to be one announcement, not 4 of them.
Well, and we were talking earlier, there was a group of people who brought their gym bags essentially to dinner, not knowing what to expect. Are we going to have to work out tonight? Are we not? Well, one of the things, though, that they did know going into this event, or going into this evening, rather, is that one of those events was going to be named Knotty Nancy. What is it?
One of the events we have already announced. It's Saturday morning's event, and it's Knotty Nancy. Instead of sitting up here describing to you guys what Knotty Nancy is, I thought we'd show you what it is.
You right there.
Yeah, I had a beautiful seat watching. This is Pat Barber doing this part of this event right now, who almost qualified for the games out of the NorCal region himself. So he's a tremendous athlete, and he took off in this run, ran up this huge incline, which from my perspective appeared to be about 6 stories high, so you're not really getting that perspective from there. And he came down the stairs a whole lot slower than he went up. So I think he kind of underestimated just how challenging that was. And upon getting to the barbell, hey, what happened? You're going to have a whole lot more overhead squats than you think.
So the 3 big changes that make Nancy so naughty in this particular case: the run, longer, involving a hill; the reps, higher reps; and a heavier weight. What's worse?
I think it's the run. We've seen a lot of athletes, they'll bump the weight up on some of these benchmark workouts just to see where they're at. But I think it's the run. They have to navigate through a narrow staircase, and there's a larger heat, 20, 22 people going through this, at least on the first one. Going to be tough, but like Pat said, Barber came down the stairs slower than he went up, and that was just in the first round.
And I'm intrigued by the 25 reps. I mean, that's just kind of a rep scheme that's just, it's uncomfortable, and you're not quite sure, maybe I can push through this first round, but should I? Is that going to have repercussions down the road? Break it up once, break it up twice. So there's going to be a tremendous amount of strategy in this.
Well, and one of the things that we need to take into account when we're talking about that workout is that's all happening the day after the second announcement. It is gross. I'm going to let Dave Castro break that one to you. All right, so we're going to work on getting that for you, but essentially what it is it's a swim and a bar muscle-up workout, starting with a 50-yard swim, 3 bar muscle-ups, and that's not all.
I'm in love with this workout, absolutely in love with it. It's just so devious. Again, I thought it'd be a swim, but what we haven't seen is this kind of short sprint swim mixed with another type of work, and especially it's this tremendous bar muscle that's going to get you hyperventilating. On a long ocean swim like we've seen in the past, you can settle into a rhythm, get your breathing down, and control yourself. We might see some legitimate panic breathing, or if you do a set of bar muscle-ups, you're trying to catch your breath and hyperventilating, what's going to happen? You're going to splash your face down in the water and not going to be able to breathe. The swimmer's going to have a huge advantage in this, and there could be some doggy paddling and some panting.
Well, and it's 10 rounds, too, so it's not just some minimal swim that you're going to be able to get out of the pool and get over with quickly, because you then have to get out of the pool and do more work, which has strategy to itself.
Yeah, most of these athletes, they've done pool workouts in a facility, but they're taking along dumbbells or a kettlebell, something they can, transport in there. They're not doing pull-ups. They're not getting up on the bar, which is, they're going to have to dry their hands off, use some chalk. There is a little bit of strategy there getting out of the pool.
So we've talked about events 1 and 2, or the announcements 1 and 2. We have yet to talk about the 3rd and 4th, which you can kind of combine. We're going to talk about those, break them down for you right after this. All right, Emily Turner, Pat Sherwood, Caity Henniger. We've talked about items 1 and 2, the 2 announcements that we made earlier today. Let's talk about the 3rd/4th. And I say 3rd/4th because you can kind of combine them. We knew there was going to be an endurance element to this. Let's listen in to what this one is.
How many of you have ever ran a half marathon? Okay, good. How many of you have ever rode a half marathon? The first 2,000 meters will be another 100-point scored event.
Well, if the look on Jason Khalipa's face isn't enough, I'll say it. Gross. Let me break down for you how this is going to work out. It's essentially 2 events. It is a half marathon row. That is 21,097 kilometers that you got to pull. Oh, that is a long way to go. That's one event. But the first 2,000 of those are a separate event. So just like Pendleton, the first 2K are one event, and the total of the entire half marathon is another event. You guys, there's a lot of strategy because this is happening right after the swim bar muscle up event.
A tremendous amount. I mean, you're so happy about this event, you threw on some glitter to talk about it. You know, you said it was one of your favorites, so run with it.
I only like this because it is so bad. You know, you're
would.
going to be on the rower for over an hour. You know, we saw, the athletes saw Nicole Carroll, the director of training, do this in 1 hour and 37 minutes. You know the key to this? They're not going to be wearing headphones. So it is all about them and what place they can get themselves into and just finish this workout.
It's a lot of also what we talked about a little earlier, which is if you're training for last year's games, you're a year behind. So everyone's like, okay, I can expect this long endurance event. I know we're going to go long. And I talk to a lot of these athletes regularly. I've seen some long bikes occasionally. I've seen a lot of long runs, and some swims, but I have not seen hey, let's hop on the old Concept 2 rower for an hour or two. I have not seen that. So there could be some big repercussions of some soreness in some areas that these athletes are not prepared for.
Again, just to recap, the first 21K, or the first 2K is one event. The entire event at 21,097. That's its own event in total as well. Let's talk to Matt Chan about what he thinks about this event.
Well, I'll tell you what Jason Khalipa would probably tell me, and that's just go balls to the wall for the 2K and just deal with the 20,000 or whatever, meters left.
The next hour.
Yeah. No, I think they're 2 100-point workouts. You got to take both of them very seriously and know your body and be able to push when you can.
Not a whole lot of people, I can't imagine, have done a half marathon row.
I don't think so, but I tell you what, I'm going to make a prediction on this one. Look for Chad McKay to do really well. Huge Australian, tall, like 225 pounds he was last year. Long arms, long legs, crushed the Pendleton Endurance Challenge, so he has lungs for it as well. I think he's going to run away with it.
Alessandra Pacelli, collegiate rower. She knows what it's like to feel the pain of the rower, so I would watch for her to win this event.
Now, all of those get started on Wednesday morning bright and early. What starts tomorrow? Well, that's the Masters events. They checked in today. Let's see how they did with all that.
Cindy Little, Masters 60. I finished 5th place. Robin Klein,
60 and above, Masters.
I'm John Kane, and I train at CrossFit Santa Cruz Central. So I've been training there since 2005.
I'm Chris Culp, and my impression so far is that this is very, very well organized.
And the people, the seamstress, were fitting me because I lost a bunch of weight, and none of my shorts fit.
I mean, every year they get more efficient, more streamlined, and this process is way faster than it was the first time I went through it in 2011. 2012 was great, but this is fairly similar to 2012.
Love the gear so far.
Sweatpants, hats. I can't believe all the stuff I have. I didn't even need to bring clothes. I would have been outfitted here.
4 different colored t-shirts with your name on it. Cool. Excited about the wads. They look really, really fun, hard and fun.
Yeah. So this is my 4th experience here. I did team at CrossFit Albuquerque in 2010, Masters in 2011, 2012, and now 2013. Both in all 3 of the Masters in 45-49.
Is this your first trip?
Second. Yeah. So this is my second bag full of books. Yeah, I always feel more nervous competing this year year because the pressure's on. Everybody says, bring it home this time. And last year was just experience. Now I feel like more pressure. But it'll still be fun. I've already seen a couple people from last year.
I think psychologically, just to know that I could do that has helped a lot. It's one of those things, you set a goal for yourself and you obtain it. Okay, I can set more goals. I can do more things.
You know, I just think these guys are redefining age. Some of these guys qualified for the individual competition in the regionals. That is just amazing.
Yeah, you know, Masters, get the grandkids out of the room. You guys are absolute badasses. I mean, some of the events that you're doing, we would have done as individual competitors in 2009 or 2008, and they are good luck catching their times or their loads. These people are insane.
Oh, they could certainly beat me. And one of the things, too, that you can forget about, or that you do forget about, is that these men and women haven't necessarily been in a competitive environment, per se, since the Open. So since late winter, early spring, they have had to train and maintain that momentum all the way through until now. I mean, that's got to be a challenge in and of itself.
Yeah, it's just a different strategy. The individual athletes, they knew they were going on to regionals. These guys, they finished the Open. They figured out that they qualified. Yes, some did compete in the regionals as individuals just to get that extra competition, but they have really had to, you know, decide how they were going to train leading up to the end of July here.
Yeah, but they're masters for a reason. They've got, you know, the wisdom of age and experience, so I know they put in the time. They're still hitting it hard. They're going to walk in ready.
Well, and their events tomorrow involve Nancy and a push-pull push, essentially. That's all happening tomorrow. And all of those events are going to be going on live here at the StubHub Center, and you can catch them on the games.crossfit.com website. We are live streaming every event, every heat for you there, starting tomorrow morning. All very exciting stuff. So again, Masters starts tomorrow. Wednesday, the individuals begin. There is so much to look forward to.
You know, and I think I want to look forward to the same stuff that all you CrossFit fans want to see, which is, number one in my mind, can anyone take down the champ, Rich Froning? Will he show signs of being human? And number two, who's going to fill the vacuum on the women's side?
And I think that's the biggest thing. Annie Thorsatter's out. Who is the champ on the female side this year?
All big questions, all things that we have yet to see answered. Now, of course, we will be here for you all weekend long right here at the Stub Center in Carson, California. And we've got everything you need to know on the games.crossfit.com website. So be sure to go there. You can check out all sorts of cool videos behind the scenes, even talk to some of the athletes. For Caity Henniger, Pat Sherwood, and myself, Emily Turner, have a great night. We will see you right here tomorrow.